Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hockey Talk. I am Mr. Harvath, once again joined by Matt Isley. We want to thank our fine sponsors at Surf Internet and Parlor Donuts for making this all possible. And that's right, we're back. It's another episode of Hockey Talk. We promised you last week. We're going to deliver it this week. It's the Western Conference playoff preview. Some of these games are already underway. Matt Isley, our resident hockey expert at PC3. How are the playoffs going so far, Matt? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Glad to see you guys again. Hello, all you hockey fans out there again. It's me, Matt. Glad to see you guys again. And welcome to the Western Conference episode. And I've got my bracket ready to go, and we'll break it down.
All right, Matt. Well, we've got some great matchups going on in the first round. Some of them are already underway, so we'll get right into the action. We'll talk about some key players, the key matchups, and we'll see Matt's prediction. We'll actually hear Matt's prediction on today's episode of who he thinks is going to come out of the Western Conference. But first, let's break down some matchups. Matt, are you ready?
I am ready to go.
All right. Well, very first, out of the Central, we got the Colorado Avalanche taking on the number 4 seed, the Los Angeles Kings out of the West. Matt, right now, Colorado leads the series 1-0. Tell us a little bit about both teams and what we can look forward to in the rest of this series.
You know, I would probably say this is actually a very great, high-scoring game. And, I mean, this guy is just really amazing. This guy.
Who's this guy, Matt? Tell us specifics. Who do you got?
I got Nathan McKinnon. He's known as the second Snoop Dogg.
Uh-oh.
And he has 127 points.
And who's he play for, Matt?
Colorado.
He's on the Colorado Avalanche, that D-O-double-G. How's he doing this year, and why is he a threat?
Because he's doing great. He's a scoring threat because he's actually one of the best players for Colorado in the Central Division because they have a higher chance of making the second round. Because this is very amazing, so I've got a good feeling about it.
All right. Now, moving on to the Los Angeles Kings. What is your outlook for them, and how can they tie up the series at 1?
For the Kings, I would say they're doing well so far, even though they just lost, like last time when they lost to the Kings, or excuse me, the Avalanche, I'm sorry. They did pretty good, but depending on how many points during the season, I mean, they have already clinched the playoff spot as the number 4 seed, but going into the net, one of their goaltenders just recently got off to a rough start, so it's not looking good for the Kings, but they will bounce back eventually sometime tonight when the brackets lock in, so just as a reminder.
All right, Matt, so break it down a little bit for us. You said one of their goaltenders is injured, not doing well. Tell me a little bit about that. What's happening with the Kings over there in Los Angeles?
So right now with Los Angeles, their goaltender, I would say Anton Forsberg for the Kings is currently injured. He injured his elbow, so looks like it will be Darcy Kemper in the net for the Kings starting in Game 2 because Anton Forsberg got off to not a very good start. He had a rough start last night on Sunday because they recently lost to Colorado. Over the weekend, they just kind of lost to it. And Darcy is actually now in the net. So while Anton Forsberg is on injured reserve for the Kings. So he'll at least take some time off to heal his elbow. So he will at least try to bounce back and try to get off the injured reserve roster and try to help the Kings to tie up the series against the Avalanche.
So, Matt, who are some players that would really make a difference for the Kings if they want to get back into the series besides their goaltending?
So for their defense, I'd say Brant Clark, Drew Doughty, Joe Edmondson, Jacob Mouver, and Mikey Anderson. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Spoiler alert, he's about to become the next captain for the Kings.
Wow, okay. All right. And then the Avalanche. Who are some players on the Avalanche that we can look forward to and possibly closing this out? Like we said, they already have the 1-0 lead. So who are some of their key players that we can look at?
So for the Avalanche, we've got Nazem Kadri, which he was acquired by Colorado, which he was traded to Colorado, like I said, but he was traded from Calgary Flames from Calgary AB Canada because, this guy just really does a good job. But so he's back with his old team, the Avalanche, once again. So Nazem Kadri, it is.
All right, so let's put a cap on this one, Matt. Right now, Colorado, as we said, leads 1-0. Who is going to win the series?
Colorado Avalanche for sure.
All right, how many games?
6.
6 games. All right, we have our first prediction here on Hockey Talk. Matt is predicting the Avalanche over the Kings in 6 games in that Western Conference series. Moving on, our second matchup sees the Dallas Stars from the Central Division, the number 2 seed, taking on, also from the Central Division, the number 3 Minnesota Wild. So, Matt, talk us through this series. What can we look forward to? Let's start with the Dallas Stars. Who's playing well, and who can we look to have a major impact to send the Stars to the second round?
So for Dallas right now, one of their hottest players is Michael Bunting. He's actually one of the Canadians right now, and he does a good job backtracking defense while stopping the other team from scoring. But he does a very good job, and he has at least 10 penalty minutes so far during the playoffs.
All right, and then let's move on to the Minnesota Wild. Who are their key players, and what could we look forward to seeing out of the to seeing out of the Wild to get back into the series?
So for Minnesota, as I look at it in my roster right now, you can tell the Minnesota Wild just recalled their goaltender from Iowa, Cal Peterson from the University of Notre Dame. Spoiler alert, the goaltender who played for the Irish, that's right, Cal Peterson from Waterloo, Iowa. And, of course, their starting goaltender for the Wild, who made his playoff debut last night, was Jesper Wallstedt, the Swedish native from Vassar, Sweden. For Minnesota, they really need to work on their scoring because they really need to get very serious and they need to play aggressively. They need to actually do some more scoring and how to play defense a lot. And they really need to work on how they need to play defensively and stop, the other team from scoring by playing defensively, but also backtracking offense while scoring as well, like I said. But that's really good for the Wild.
And what about the Stars? What do they need to do to keep up their momentum in this series?
For Dallas, they really need to, they have to, just play defense, but also play offense as well. Not only they have to, play with the puck on offense, but they need to, have some very good defense. They really need to, go on the power play, but also need to get some power play goals in there. So
Okay. Let me stop you right there. So power play is going to be the key for the Stars to maintain the momentum. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and that's exactly what the Stars need to do, especially one of their top scoring threats like Thomas Harley from Syracuse, New York.
All right. So, Matt, let's break it down. Final prediction, who's going to the second round? Is it going to be the Stars? How many games?
I would say Minnesota because they have that 1-0 series lead over Dallas right now. They are going to advance to the second round, and right now Minnesota's going to win this series in 7 games.
All right, moving on. He's still predicting Minnesota in 7 games, though, right, Matt?
That's right.
All right, moving on. The next series, we'll see the Las Vegas Golden Knights taking on the number 4 seed in the West, the Utah Mammoth. Right now, Vegas has the 1-0 series lead. Matt, go ahead and break this one down for us.
So Vegas does a very good job. I mean, I don't know why they fired their head coach, Bruce Cassidy. I have no idea. What's your opinion on this problem? Why did they fire Bruce Cassidy? What was your explanation for this?
I don't really have an explanation, Matt. You are the hockey expert. What do you think went down over there?
I think probably, I think it might be some coaching issues, I guess so. What led to Bruce Cassidy helping for the Knights to win and clinching the playoff spot. And immediately they just, fired Bruce Cassidy. Down he goes. And that's what really happened. And now they hired John Tortorella for the Vegas Golden Knights, and this should really not happen unless we get Bruce Cassidy back, unless we do so.
All right. So what's your prediction for the series, Matt? What do you think?
Probably Vegas for sure.
Vegas?
Yep.
Okay, so Matt is predicting Vegas to go on the offensive and win this series. Right now they're up 1-0. Anybody stick out for the Utah Mammoth in the series?
For Utah, I'd say one of their leading scorers for Utah, Jack McBain, who's currently from Toronto, Canada, and he's very good. So he is 6'4".
All right. So final prediction: Vegas wins in how many games?
So Vegas will win the series in, let's go with 6 games.
6 games. All right. And now our final first-round matchup. Right now, the Edmonton Oilers are leading the Anaheim Ducks in the series 1-0. Obviously, the Oilers out of the Pacific Division, and the Ducks are also out of their same Pacific Division. This one's a 2-3 matchup. And Matt, tell us about this one. Who are some of the key players on Edmonton and some of the key players, for the Anaheim Ducks?
Okay, so what I'm going to break it down is that for Edmonton right now, you can tell one of their players, I'd say Leon Draisaitl, is actually from Germany, so he's a German, player, so he does a good job. And he does a very good job of scoring, playing defense, but also does a very nice job of getting those assists and points while blocking those shots with plus-minus as well so far this season.
All right, and then break down the other side. Tell us about what they need to do to pick up the victory.
For Anaheim, I'd say, based on Leo Carlson's, playing games so far this season, Leo Carlson does a good job. This guy is 6'3". He can dangle the D's, skate well, and he's just the number 1 international ranked skater. So he is a very good job. And of course, he can do it all. And he can help the Ducks win the series over the Edmonton Oilers and advance to the second round in 5 games.
All right, Matt, 5 games. Is that your final prediction?
That's correct.
All right. Well, Matt, that's all the first-round matchups in the Western Conference, but now we're going to dig a little bit deeper, okay? Think about the entire West and the field and the predictions that you've made. I want you to tell us right here on Hockey Talk, if you had to make a prediction right now and choose one team to come out of the West, who's it going to be?
Minnesota Wild in the Central Division, also known as C3, which is the third in Central Division, so I'd say probably the Minnesota Wild in the Central.
All right, so you're predicting the Minnesota Wild will represent the West in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yes, along with the Tampa Bay Lightning in the East in the Atlantic Division.
All right, well, that would be an intriguing series should both teams make it, but that is your Western Conference breakdown, Matt. How you feeling right now?
Right now, I'm feeling pretty good today, so yeah, I'm feeling great.
All right.
Got my Blackhawks shirt on, Bedard, I know, but...
too bad they're not in the playoffs this year, huh?
Yeah, I know for sure they're not in the playoffs, but Bedard's doing well, so he's just, keep on cruising. He's doing well. He's just doing pretty good, so I'm just so glad that Bedard's back, so I'm just so thankful to
All right, well, maybe Bedard will lead the Blackhawks to the playoffs next year. You never know.
Who knows, but oh well.
All right, well, tonight as we record this, today is April 20th, we've got 4 big matchups tonight, 2 in the East and 2 in the West. Tonight at 6 p.m. on ESPN, it's the Flyers and the Penguins over in the East. And then following that up on ESPN2 at 6:30, we've got the Senators and the Hurricanes Game 2. Hurricanes up 1-0 in that series. I missed it earlier, but the Flyers, led by your old friend, Todd Reardon.
Yes.
Assistant coach,
yeah,
Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, he's very good. I like that. So he is an old friend of my coach, so he's good. So go Flyers.
Really helping out over there in Philadelphia with the defenseman, and hopefully he can lead the Flyers or help lead the Flyers to a victory. And then obviously tonight at 8:30 p.m., we go back to the West. It's the Wild and the Stars, followed immediately by the first matchup between the Ducks and the Oilers. A lot of playoff action on tap tonight, Matt.
For sure, indeed.
All right. Well, that'll about wrap it up for today's edition of Hockey Talk. Again, we want to thank our fine PC3 sponsors, which include Surf Internet and Parlor Donuts. Thank you for your hospitality and, of course, your sponsorship of all PC3 Media. We really appreciate it. Matt, you ready for some hockey?
I'm ready for hockey tonight. Just as a reminder, as a final reminder, just to let you know, the brackets lock in within 6 hours of the NHL website. So just to let you know, within Game Zone.
All right. Well, there you go. Make sure you tune in to some great hockey action tonight on ESPN. There's some great action going on for you. It's the playoffs, so we will keep track of how these teams do. And I don't know, Matt, you want to check in again in about a week and see how these teams are doing and how your predictions are holding up?
Yeah, I just want to check in within a couple of weeks to figure out who's going to the second round, so we'll find out.
All right, we will indeed find out. So, for our hockey expert here, Matthew Isley, I am Mr. Harvath. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Western Conference preview of Hockey Talk. Remember to check out our website at pc3media.com. Check out our YouTube page. View past episodes, especially Matt's interview with Coach Reardon. It's up there on YouTube. You can check it out. So, enjoy the hockey games tonight. Matt, any final words?
So long from Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm Matt Isley, and this is Mr. Harvath on Hockey Talk. So long.